And as a result, we have a society full of talented, brilliant, creative people that think they are not, because the very thing that they were good at school was not valued and sometimes stigmatized.
Okay. So I ask Councillor Simon Morrall to move the motion of which he has given notice.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. I rise to move the motion in my name, Councillor Simon Morrall, for Frankly Great Park Ward in South Birmingham. Lord Mayor, Albert Einstein once said that everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will spend the rest of its life believing that it was stupid. The human brain is a network of approximately 100 billion neurons. Different experiences create different neuroconnections, which create different emotions. Depending on which neurons get stimulated, certain connections get more efficient, whereas others become weaker. Psychologists call this neuroplasticity. Someone who trains to become a musician will create stronger neuroconnections that link the two hemispheres of the brain in order to become musically creative. Someone who trains to be an artist will create stronger neuroconnections in order to become artistically skilled. Virtually any sort of talent or skill can be created through training. In fact, whatever you are doing at any time, you are physically modifying your brain to become better at it. Emotional resilience works exactly the same way, and our belief systems have a profound impact on our body chemistry. When our ideas, talents, and thoughts are appreciated, dopamine activates the reward neurons, making us feel empowered. Self-esteem and self-belief are closely linked to the neurotransmitter serotonin. And when the lack of this takes on severe proportion, it often leads to depression, self-destructive behaviour, and at worst, suicide. Now, I know what you're thinking. What on earth has this got to do with education and skills? Well, as you know, I campaign a lot about mental health. And on the other side of that coin, I'm always talking about purpose. Many of our young boys don't have a purpose. They simply exist. And it feels like the mainstream establishment are completely out of touch on this topic. Now, I wrote some more notes here about purpose and ensuring that people have purpose in their lives, because mental health is only one side of this coin. On the other side, because purpose is really important. And to me, that comes down to three words. And you might have heard them before. Education, education, education. They were the words of Tony Blair and the Labour government of 1997.
And I tell you, education, education, and education.
A new dawn has broken, has it not? That was my generation.
A new dawn has broken, has it not?
Their great plan was to send 50% of students off to university, a goal that was only reached in the last few years. But what you're not told by the media is, according to the Higher Education Statistics Authority, is that 40% of graduates will go on to work in the public sector, while a third of them go on to non-professional roles. And according to the Higher Education Statistics Authority, in 2014, 40% of university graduates go on to work in the public sector. A third of them go on to non-professional roles. So, I mean, I kind of brand that as state nepotism. You know, it's no different than a rich kid in Sutton Coldfield going to work for his dad's company. You haven't really gone out into the marketplace and bartered your human capital, have you? You've just been filtered into the public sector. Don't get me wrong, Lord Mayor. I want my doctors to know what they're talking about. I want my planes to stay in the sky. But anyone who tells you that university is the path to the promised land is simply lying to you. The whole system of state education is a protracted process of university entrance, which has really come to dominate the view of intelligence and academic ability, because universities have effectively designed the whole system in their own image. And as a result, we have a society full of talented, brilliant, creative people that think they are not, because the very thing that they were good at school was not valued and sometimes stigmatized. For me, what I valued was business. I was a poor kid. I was raised on a council estate by a single mum. I just wanted to know how to make money so I could escape poverty. I dropped out of school to see our skateboarding videos, and I learned all my trade online. This kept me out of trouble, but it also gave me a purpose, as I would burn my own skateboarding films to DVD and sell them for £5. I was 16 making money from a hobby, and I often joked to my socialist friends that skateboarding made me a Tory. It was a website called lynda.com that I learned video editing. I was being trained by people from Adobe themselves, teaching me Adobe Photoshop, After Effects, web development. I was learning all this for a price of a Netflix subscription, where my peers were coming out of university £9,000 in debt. At the age of 21, I had a music studio above a shop. By the age of 21, I had my own music studio above a shop. At 23, I was working for an entertainment magazine. 25, I was working for the largest newspaper group in the country. Now, I did all that on my own without any GCSEs, and yet how many kids are being told that if they don't get their GCSEs and they don't go to university, they're going to be a failure for the rest of their life? And that really, really angers me. And how many kids are being told that if you don't get your GCSEs, you're going to be a failure for the rest of your life? And Linda Weinman herself is pretty incredible. 2015, Linda Weinman sold her business for £1.5 billion to Microsoft. Why is Linda Weinman not in our school textbooks? In fact, where are all the entrepreneurs in our school textbooks? Why are we not teaching anything about business? Linda Weinman is my type of feminist, frankly. Our educational system is stuck in the 19th century, when it was invented to meet the needs of industrialism. That's why the school day is divided up in its rigid structures. It's why we teach people at the same age, which doesn't make any sense. Surely we should be teaching people at the same academic ability. And please don't think that I'm attacking teachers here. Teachers do a fantastic job, but they are simply pushing water uphill in a system that is redundant and outdated.
The whole system was invented around the world. There were no public systems of education really before the 19th century. They all came into being to meet the needs of industrialism. So the hierarchy is rooted on two ideas. Number one, that the most useful subjects for work are at the top. So you were probably steered benignly away from things at school when you were a kid, things you liked, on the grounds you would never get a job doing that. Is that right? Don't do music, you're not going to be a musician. Don't do art, you won't be an artist. Benign advice. Now, profoundly mistaken.
What I also find really profound in society is people think that creativity and entrepreneurship are not the same thing. They are. If you're a creative individual, you should be an entrepreneur. The marketplace needs fresh ideas. It needs innovation. And if you don't have that, you create monopolies. And that creates the capitalist system that many people on the left try to criticize. This innovation is known in economics as creative destruction. And the irony was that term was coined by Karl Marx himself. 99.9% of all businesses are small to medium enterprises. How many people in the street know that fact? Not many. They probably just think we're run by a bunch of corporate overlords. And when I talk about this, the response you get is, oh, but business is not for everyone. How do you know? You've never even asked the question, because it is nowhere in our curriculum to find. And I've seen nobody on the green benches in Parliament who wants to raise this issue. And so I will end by simply saying, workers of the world, unite. You have nothing to lose but your chains. Life is not about finding yourself, it's about creating yourself. It doesn't matter where you come from, it matters where you go. And if you don't build your dream, somebody else will hire you to help you build theirs. Stand on your own 2 feet, be your own boss, be free, and as a city, let's be bold. Thank you, Lord Mayor.
Thank you.